Hello, come in. So, welcome to my place. Well, and Tavi's place.
Yes.
My name's Georgia, and I live in the 18th arrondissement. And the first thing you see when you come in is kind of a collection of papers that I've collected when I've been traveling since I moved in here, which was about almost a year ago now. And this is kind of one of my favorite parts of the flat because it's a mix of like memories with friends and really old photos of like family and pets and everyone who I'm missing back in England, mixed with like stuff that I did last week. So
Right.
that's my favorite part. However, right next to it is my least favorite part. My landlord insisted on leaving this abandoned IKEA closet door, and he was like,
Oh yeah, it's a door actually.
yeah, he was like, it's really useful because it's a mirror, right? And I'm like, it's a fucking, it's a piece of broken glass, and it does not look good at all. But he is a very particular personality who is very invested in this apartment, shall we say.
Right.
And then, as Tavi is kind of the roommate, this is all dedicated to her various costumes,
Right.
we can say.
Yes.
She's kind of a fashionista.
Oh, wow.
So we have a lot of like ensembles,
Yeah.
which is good. I mean, she wears everything very, very well. So she deserves to have a wardrobe.
Nice.
The layout is a little bit funny. So we have all of these closets, which are enormous and perfect for my coats and all my shoes. Then we kind of have half of a kitchen dining room, and you walk kind of down a straight line into the real kitchen. If I wasn't just renting, I think I would extend across and maybe just kind of have like one line here.
Yeah.
I really hate being in this. I mean, I love to cook and I love to bake, but since I've moved here, I'm really
Not so much,
The
yeah.
most I'm doing is making stuff for the dog.
Yeah.
I think the layout of the kitchen is really important, and I just don't really feel inspired living here. But also, I'm now living in a neighborhood with so many good restaurants and bars and new things opening all the time. I guess those two factors are why I'm not so much into cooking right now.
Yeah. No.
But yet, my past life as a competent baker and chef, i.e. the form of my KitchenAid,
Oh yeah.
is evident, but it's just like shoved into the dusty corner, waiting for a good time. And is there anything interesting in here?
So yeah, basically in terms of machinery, like what do you have? You have your
Yes, so full oven,
stove, tree.
which is really rare. I appreciate that there is a legit oven.
Yeah.
Washing machine, which again, great.
Yes.
And then I have, these are things that belong to me, like a kettle, a blender, KitchenAid, which is really useful.
Yeah.
And I used to have a lot of coffee paraphernalia and equipment and a lot of coffee choices, but I recently got told to stop drinking that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all hidden aside for now.
Actually, do you come here to eat here on the left side where you have your little table, or do you eat more in the living room?
I confess that I am not French enough yet, and I will eat on my sofa
Right.
like a sad bachelor. But when I have a friend over, we can like pull this out, or
Okay.
even in the living room. That's what's great about the flat is it's such a strange space, but I can host different sorts of events and really adapt the space, and easily kind of like, these are just stools that you can use as side tables or extra seating, and that's what's nice, is it's a really flexible space. So we can move all this around and make it look nicer.
And you have a huge fridge. Like, I don't see that a lot. Like,
Yes.
this is pretty rare actually in Paris.
I think if you're a single person, what single people actually need is the freezer part to be the big part, and the fridge part can be small. This is
Yes.
very embarrassing. So I got back last night from traveling. So I have a leftover hand roll,
Yes.
two bottles of champagne,
Right, that's very
and like
French.
5 apples.
Okay.
So this kind of looks concerning to an outsider, but this part is like full of beautiful ingredients for next time and leftovers, and that's why I think single people, well, okay, aside from the vodka, I think if you're living alone, you actually need a bigger freezer, because personally I just get so bored eating the same thing over and over again, and so I like to mix and match. And I cook a lot for the dog, which I know is really weird.
No, it's very good. I know it's a lot of work. I have a dog myself, but
it's a sign of being maybe too unemployed. So in here, this is the infamous feature of my flat. So we have this sliding barn door on the bathroom, and it's constantly embarrassing people at parties. It does this little thing where it just
slides
opens that much. And I'm sitting on the toilet, like really facing out at the world. Take a look if you want. It's really compact, but I guess it has everything that I need, to be honest. I can't complain.
I think it's a good shower.
I really love the white textured tiles and like the high ceiling.
Yeah.
The window is broken, but that's not my fault.
Yeah. No, you have a nice little mirror here, and then like a little bit like these stained glass. That's kind of nice.
It makes a nice change.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything works well. You can fit 2 people in the shower if you need to. And like, it's just cute. I think it looks pretty good.
Yep. Definitely.
It's just a shame about the
sliding door,
the embarrassment that I'm constantly causing. So then you come to the end of the corridor, which is super long. And here it's a combined bedroom and living room. Another issue is that if you knock on my front door, I will not hear you because it is so far away. And no one seems to be able to find the doorbell. So everything, I'm renting, but a lot of this stuff belongs to me. It took me a really long time to move everything I own from the UK here. So it's really nice to be in a space where I'm living by myself for the first time, don't have flatmates anymore, not living with a partner, not living with my parents, and it's just like all my stuff. It turns out that I'm really, really girly and I cannot stop buying pink. This is a Polly Pocket house that I got in like 2000. And I end up buying a lot of toys in this apartment because people, when they get drunk, they really like to get nostalgic and be like, oh my God, is that a Polly Pocket? Like, it's fun to give people something to do. Like, I have Play-Doh, I have different card games, giant Jenga, like, just give the people something to do with their hands.
Yeah, that's cool.
These are little prints that I picked up in New York from 2 or 3 different trips. This is a statue of Tavi, which is probably the first sign that I started losing my mind by paying for a custom statue of my dog.
She's coming now to check what we're doing.
And I've had the dog for 2 years, and I'm slowly becoming one of those households that has like all the merchandise for your dog breed. I didn't anticipate becoming this type of person.
I'm already there, so don't worry.
Yeah, like even the cushion, if she's asleep in her bed,
Yeah. You
there's
like that.
always going to be a Boston Terrier
Right.
staring at me eating. What else is in here? So, as I said, loads of different games for parties and stuff. I hate this ginormous TV. I think it must be like 60 inches or
Yeah.
something.
I would say so, yeah.
My neighbour next door has a fireplace instead of that.
Yeah.
And I would give anything to exchange
Yeah.
a fireplace for this TV. But when we have a karaoke, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Everyone, people from the apartment over there can
Yeah.
read the lyrics on the screen. That's how big it is. Here we've got so much more storage. So my everyday clothes are in there. This is, I believe, a Danish coffee table from the 60s or the 50s that my landlord left in the flat for me. And this couch is also a vintage Scandinavian design.
Yeah.
This stresses me out a lot because I know how much they cost. And for example, this lamp is also a really iconic design and was owned by a famous British actor. It kind of bounces and swings around when you touch it. So there's a lot of pressure when your landlord wants to leave these kind of things, and I'm constantly being that person covering the table and like replacing people's glasses with coasters, and it makes me seem a bit precious, but it's not my stuff, so I've got to look after it, and it's vintage.
Right.
But the good news is that this is actually totally my personal style, and therefore I'm grateful to have the stuff because I did not have a couch when I moved in here. And over here, it's a bit of a bizarre situation, but amazing storage again. Have kind of like this little bar area because the kitchen space is limited. My Le Creuset pots, which are really heavy. Then down here is all my stuff for kind of hosting. Not beautifully organized for you. But that's one thing I'm really enjoying doing now that I'm living by myself and just like filling it up with friends and having an excuse to buy nice cheese and make fun drinks. However, these don't really close and I've got to get someone to help me with that. So we have my laundry basket and kind of more of the same storage, and this is like my perfume collection and the stuff I put on my face and my hair. It doesn't seem like this is very precious, but this is my kind of precious corner of like my bag collection. We're going to work on how that's presented. The bed, again, was the landlord's. Very grateful because I did not own one.
Yep.
And then under here, it's a strange kind of... I can use this area to work, to study, but also keep a few things underneath. And these chairs are mine. I got an amazing deal on them. Like, I'd always wanted them for maybe the last 10 years. I admired this type of chair. And I moved in here, and there's actually a guy just one street over who restores them for a living.
Oh, cool.
And he did me a really good deal, and yeah, I'm just like ecstatic. This is like a heirloom piece from someone, I don't know who.
Yeah, someone will get it.
My dog.
Yeah.
And what else is there?
I saw that you have like this huge pile, like this tower of books.
Yes.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah, so it seems like I really am a Barbie pink girl at heart.
I mean, 2 or 3 books out of, how many?
Yeah.
So it's fine.
So I would say about my reading habits, okay, how to summarize. I studied anthropology at university, so I've always been interested in like different cultural accounts and things like biology and sociology. So I have some books about like examples of societies that do it well. Here they're saying Finland.
Right.
Epidemiology. I picked that up at Harvard, but I also am kind of more in my personal life. I'm into like modern architecture and things like that. So I find this book really inspirational. It's about like modernist estates across Europe and kind of like your channel. You can see how people live.
Right.
Yeah, I really love this.
That's cool.
And otherwise, I've been buying a lot of little French novels because I'm about a level B2. So I've still got a way to go.
Right.
And it's kind of my dream to really be a citizen.
Yes.
It's my medium-term goal.
Oh yeah.
So I ordered this book from Amazon, which is aimed at children.
Yeah.
And it basically breaks down what is a republic, how does France work, how does voting work, what are your rights. But the funny thing is, I've actually found a few errors in it.
Okay.
So
It's funny that it's made by François Hollande, the
yes,
one of the ex-presidents of France.
yeah, and I found a few editorial errors, and you'd really think that
They checked it.
yeah, but they have this very funny page, which I think is super French, a super French way of explaining things to kids. Like the French territory is divided in layers of administration.
Yeah.
And they kind of give an analogy of France is like a cake. It's like a patisserie. And I just found that really funny. Maybe I'll just throw away the rest of the book when I pass my exam, but I'll
Just
put
keep
this
that.
in a frame. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. No, yeah, I see.
Yeah. So editorial errors aside, this is a book that I lend out a lot to friends. Because I have a lot of immigrant friends here as well. And we're all we've been here for 4 or 5 years now, and we just want to stay and be like genuinely integrated and not the cliche British or Americans who only talk to each other and work in English. Like, it's kind of my nightmare.
Yeah, it's good to
Yeah.
mix up also with French people and just I saw my favorite book actually here. J.D. Salinger, Catch in the Rye.
Yeah, this copy,
Oh, be careful. Oh no, there's different
it's
dividers.
tiny little secret.
There's these tiny little
tiny
dividers.
shells.
I
Yeah.
see. Okay, nice.
Tavi wants to go back to bed.
Oh, okay.
So this is probably one of the oldest books I have here. I'm trying to remember if it was assigned reading from school or if it's something my parents. Like, one of my favorite memories of my dad is just that, back in the day when Amazon was the most basic webpage and it was just books.
Yep.
My dad was so sweet, and he was always using the Amazon algorithm to see what books he brought for me before and which ones I'd like again. And that's like a really nice thing that he used to do, is just constantly buy me books. And this is one from my childhood as well. It's funny because there's a lot of racist stuff. Non-politically, this is like a Norwegian series.
Right.
And fun fact, my Norwegian friend told me that pepper pot, so this is the English like transliteration, but in Norwegian, her name kind of means teaspoon bitch.
Right, okay.
And she's basically this Norwegian housewife, who shrinks once in a while and gets into a mishap and has to escape. It's a really sweet little book that I bought for my younger siblings as well. Otherwise it's really a mix of novels that I had to study back when I was like 15 or 16, and then lots of secondhand French books that are meant to be okay for learners, because it's I find like the grammar sometimes it's hard.
Oh yeah, even I struggle with it still sometimes.
Yeah.
Very cool. I'm just gonna pan around one more time here to show like the whole space. I think you said it before. It's 44 square meters. Actually.
44 meters squared, and it seems like most of those 44 meters are this hallway. It's just...
It's true, like there's a lot, the hallway's probably
Yeah.
15 or so already.
But I have a lot of friends with dogs and I dog sit sometimes, and when they have the zoomies,
They can just run around
this
here.
is
Yeah.
perfect.
This is the path of, I
Yeah.
see.
So again, hosting for dogs, hosting for humans, it has its it has its upsides.
Yeah.
With all the space towards the front door, I had a Halloween party and I set up like a fake tattooing station.
Okay.
So it's really nice how everything is very like light and movable. And you can do some fun stuff with the
For sure.
with this space. Yeah.
If you don't mind me asking, how much are you paying for the space?
Yes. So I do pay $1,600 a month, and this would count as a furnished apartment.
Right.
What are my feelings about that? My landlord says that he hasn't raised the rent in like several years. I think at least 5 years. And this is a really central, like well-connected neighborhood. I really appreciate that my apartment is at the back of the building and all of my views are kind of either skylights or on the courtyard.
Sure.
Super quiet. And the street is pretty vibrant. So I'm really grateful to be at the back of the building and have, like, it's rare to have views of trees and just uninterrupted rooftops and neighbors in Paris.
Yeah.
So 1,600, yeah, it's sometimes I resent it, other times I'm just grateful to have found a place because it's not easy being foreign and looking.
Yeah, from my experience, I can say that it's probably somewhere in the middle. Like it doesn't seem very expensive to me. It's not cheap, but I think it's for Paris standards, it's reasonable price that you're paying. So
yeah. I'm just I'm focusing less on the money and more just like I really love this neighborhood. It has so many like friendly people who we see all the time. It's really well connected to my friends. Before I was in the suburbs and there was like nothing I wanted to do there, and I was really depressed living there, and it just didn't suit me at all, and didn't really have the things that I needed for the dog. So now we're so much happier here, and we can walk a lot more, and not everything is like a 45-minute commitment on the train. So I'm not sure how long I'm gonna stay here for, but I'm enjoying it whilst it's happening. And,
okay.
Yeah.
Great. But then I guess that we've seen pretty much everything.
Well, sorry, there's not a secret.
No, I mean, it's a beautiful apartment
bedroom.
and very very unique, and it's layout with the long corridor.
I think it's for tax reasons.
All right. But thank you so much for letting us film your apartment. And I guess that's it.
Thank you. Thanks for coming.